What is up, everybody? Yes, I know it's not Tuesday. We tried to do this yesterday, but man, oh man, the audio was absolutely atrocious. So I did some tweaking. Hopefully, I got this right, and hopefully, it gets out to you guys and gals the way it should, and it doesn't sound like I'm a robot or Mr. Roboto or anything like that. But what we talked about yesterday is side hustles. It seems like everyone has one. And if you don't, I guarantee you know someone who does. So if that's the case, go ahead and share this video just so they can kind of go through this and answer these questions themselves. Because what we're seeing is with this rise of side hustle culture, when is it time to get that insured commercially? So that's what we're going to talk about here today, and I am super excited to bring that to you today. And like I said, we tried to do it yesterday, but it just wasn't in the cards. Just wasn't in the cards. So what are we talking about today, ladies and gentlemen? We are talking about, does your side hustle need insurance? And yes, this is, like I said, this is a huge topic, a huge topic. And when I say side hustle, I mean, are you a carpenter and build crafts, or does your significant other make wreaths, or are you a freelance photographer? Do you bake cakes and cookies? Do you do anything on the cyber side, whether it's running ads or doing any social media for clients? So yes, and the list goes on and on and on. So it's something that I'm very excited to talk about because it is extremely relevant. And one of the first things that pops up is, does your home policy cover it? And that's kind of what we're going to talk about, is what's the difference between something that can be covered under your home policy and what cannot, and what needs to be further insured. But what I'm referring to is what we refer to as incidental business when it comes to your home policy. Now, this is very, very company dependent, so it's something that you will need to talk to your agent about, or give me a call, and I will go over what your situation. We'll talk about what your situation is, and I'll give you um, my best recommendation. But there's many things that have to take place in order for incidental business coverage to kind of take place, and a lot of times too, it's an endorsement on the current policy as opposed to something that's just already there. So let me break down the eligibility. Um, the business has to be owned by you. It can't be owned by a partnership, corporation, anything like that. It has to be solely owned in your name. The business can't occupy more than 33% of your total floor space of the dwelling. No employees aside from household members. Let's see here. Kind of a list of kind of quote unquote acceptable ventures here is arts and crafts, accounting, bookkeeping, bait shop, beauty and barber shop, bed and breakfast, which that's a whole other thing that we probably shouldn't be having on our home policy. Christmas tree sales, dress making and tailoring. The list goes on and on and on. So it's something that's not a very large business by any means. And a lot of times when it comes to the incidental business, there's an actual number of how many dollars you're allowed to earn per year. Obviously, with commercial insurance, it's you're obviously making money. So that has to go into it. That has to go into it. So let's move on to the next one here. All right. We talked about your home. Do you use your vehicles to get work done? One of the examples I have here is if you're out and about picking up anything for the business, and have a fender bender. And once that happens, the adjuster does a little bit of investigation and realizes that this is for a business purpose, and then looks at your policy and it's like, well, do I really have coverage for that? You're kind of getting into a gray area at that point. Kind of getting into a gray area. Do customers or business packages come to your home? Now, this is a biggie here, ladies and gentlemen. If customers come to your home, that is a huge red flag right there. Huge red flag, because the more people that come to your house, obviously the greater the risk. And when you're having customers come to your home, that opens up a whole bag of worms that just really, really needs to be taken a look at and needs to be insured commercially. Now, when it comes to this, keep in mind that a lot of times when it comes to the commercial side and the personal side, when it's from the home, a lot of times the commercial company will also require the regular personal side. So the same company that insures your home, and most times auto, but home, will want the commercial and vice versa. So kind of keep that in mind. But yes, especially if customers or clients are coming to your home. Now, great example of this is if the mailman or we're talking about the other side here, the mailman or Amazon delivery gets on your porch and there's a loose board and they break an ankle, and that package was supplies for your business or something needed for your business, then man, yeah, we're again really getting into that gray area, and kind of yeah, it is something that really needs to be insured commercially. Where I did that one. Do you work with children or animals? And this is one of those another one of those big things. And prime example is if you have, let's say, a dog walking business and you're taking, Johnny the lab out and he bites not only a child but another animal. That's a huge liability risk that your home insurance will not like at all. So again, that is something that needs to be insured commercially, and especially when you're dealing with children too. Just in the sue happy society that we live in today, anytime that happens, let's get that written commercially. Let's get that written commercially. Do you process payments or handle other information? Again, this is another biggie, because now we're entering into the cyber part of it. Or prime example again, if you're out and about and you have your laptop, your work laptop in your car, and it's stolen, and not only have you processed payments with that, but you also have names, birth dates, any number of information about your clients that potentially are now exposed. So that enters into a whole realm of, okay, yes, now we really need that cyber liability. And as well as if you're a photographer and you're taking photos and you upload those photos to your website without your client's consent, that can be a whole other ball of worms too. And especially if they potentially have children in them. And I know for a fact a lot of my friends don't like to put their kids' pictures on the internet. So again, you're opening yourself up for something that could tragically go wrong, unless it is insured incorrectly, or if it's insured correctly. Could anyone get hurt or sick? Now, we talked about if you bake cookies or cakes or do wedding cakes and cupcakes and all of this other stuff. Even you could be the most meticulous and the most just too exact. Something could go wrong. Someone could have an allergic reaction to what you're doing. And again, the only coverage you're relying on is your home policy. Then again, that's taking a huge risk, because it is a business. You are doing this for money. Again, something I would highly recommend, if you are doing something like that, that we do have that talk about commercial insurance. And this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a big one. Is it your primary source of income? Because let's be honest, if it's your primary source of income, it's no longer a side hustle. It is your business. It is your bread and butter. It is what makes you money and pays your bills. And in that case, absolutely, we need to get that insured commercially, no matter how big or small. It's just the fact that it is your sole income. And if something were to happen, man, I would not want to bank on my home policy covering something that is not only my livelihood, but you're talking any number of things that could potentially go wrong. And yeah, just having it insured correctly when it is your sole source of income. Because like I said, if that's the case, we're no longer talking about this being a side hustle. It is your hustle. It is your hustle. All right, I got one more here, ladies and gentlemen. Would a lawsuit or inventory loss leave you broke? Kind of getting into the last slide. Even if it is a side hustle, if there is a massive fire and you have a storage building, and whether your inventory is being stored in there or your supplies to make your inventory are sold or stored in there, and there's a fire, how would that financially, would you be able to recover from that? If things were stolen, if things were vandalized, how far would it put you back in your side hustle, or in the case of when it's your only hustle, where would it leave you? Where would it leave you? So that's something that is massively, massively important. All right, let me check my notes here. All right, I think I hit on everything, but I did find this quote, and I wanted to share it with you guys and gals, because once I start talking about this, everyone's like, I'm in this side hustle because I'm trying to pay off X, Y, and Z, my mortgage, student loans, just trying to set myself up for the best success that I can. Or I have this side hustle so that I can build a business that makes enough money so that I can leave my normal 9 to 5. So why would I want to be paying out money when I could just be saving that and it could be furthering me along quicker? This is a great quote, and that it puts everything in perspective very, very clearly. Let's face it, your side gig might be a safe bet 99% of the time, but life doesn't go as planned. Business insurance adds an extra layer of protection so bad luck doesn't leave you broke. And that's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. 9 times out of 10, it is just bad luck. It is just bad luck that these things happen. You could be the most protective, the most to the book person when it comes to your business, but things are bound to happen. Things are bound to happen. And how is it going to leave you financially? How is it going to leave you your future, your assets, your income? It is definitely something that you have to consider, paying a little bit now, or when something happens, paying a huge, huge, huge debt where it could ultimately leave you financially crippled, your credit maxed, your credit score is totally shot because you're trying to pay this off, or just the list goes on and on and on. And for a lot of the examples I gave here, and we'll get into these, break them down what they are really, in the verbiage and everything here in future videos. But when anytime I mention commercial stuff, everyone is like, man, that's going to be expensive. That's going to be expensive. Well, not really. Not really. Obviously, the more income you bring in, the higher the premium is going to be. The more employees you have, the more expensive it's going to be. The bigger scale of your business, the more expensive it's going to be. So if it's just you, no employees, and a relatively small income, obviously depending on what you're doing, but if you're just looking for liability coverage with a little bit of business property, relatively inexpensive. Relatively inexpensive. So when you hear commercial, don't think about, oh man, I'm going to spend every dollar that I have on insurance. Just doesn't make sense. That's generally not the case. And I say generally because every business and every situation is different. So I don't want to paint a broad picture here. But if this is something that is something you want to pursue, or have any questions, or go ahead and comment on this video, shoot me a Facebook message. Here is my office number as well as my email. Give you a couple of seconds to screenshot that. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever, side hustles are awesome. I have one. And with the way the economy is going, I have a feeling that maybe in a couple years, everyone's going to have one. So let's make sure that the thing that you're building, we're building it the right way. And there's someone there to help you right here to make sure that not only your income, your assets, your family, everything is taken care of the way it should. Let's work as a team together. Let's work as a team to make sure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, so that your business can flourish as well as your family, your income, and we're all millionaires here in the next couple years. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you with that, and I will see you on the next one.